people being apathetic to the situation and really not realizing the dangers of what can come, and that things can get a lot worse. Things are already bad in the Bronx. We have, highest poverty rates of anywhere in New York. We are dealing with, constant issues with homelessness, with drug addiction. We're seeing people who are unsafe. We are having the highest rape amounts, the highest amount of robberies, the highest amount of attacks. And this is not a candidate who's going to care about those things. This is not a candidate who's going to support safety, who's going to support growth, who's going to support business. And it's going to put us back even further.
This is the Publisher's Desk with Damon K. Jones, brought to you by Black Westchester Magazine.
Peace and blessings, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Publisher's Desk, powered by Black Westchester Magazine and blackwestchester.com. Today, we're sitting down with one of New York's most talked about congressional candidates, Daniel Saynt. A lifelong New Yorker and entrepreneur, is running to represent New York's 13th Congressional District as an independent. But after spending 25 years as a Democrat, he says the party no longer represents his values. Why did he leave? Why is he speaking out against socialism? And what is his vision for creating safer communities, expanding homeownership, and growing strong businesses in his district? I'd like to introduce a new friend of the show, Daniel Saynt. Welcome, brother. How you doing, man?
Damon, thank you so much for this invite. I'm so privileged to be on here.
No, man, thank you. I saw that you shared our interview with my brother, Kevin Meggett from the Veterans Association. And,
Yes.
and I saw your profile. I said, let me reach out to the brother and see if he come on the show. We can have this conversation, man, because you're in a hot district.
Yeah, no, we got the Bronx, we got Harlem, we got, all of Upper Manhattan and the Heights. It's a very hot district right now with Lisa trying to come in and take over.
Yeah. So first, let's first start off. You're running as an independent, right?
Yes, running as an independent. Was a Democrat for 25 years now.
Is this a write-in or you got on the ballot as an independent?
My initial intention was to run in 2028. I was planning to do my full run then. Right now I'm running as a write-in candidate. So Daniel Saynt, if you live in District 13 in New York, Saynt, you can definitely write that name in and make sure Darlisa doesn't win. But yeah, no, my original intention was to run in 2028. I saw what happened with this election and Espelot kind of getting pushed to the side and, kicked to the curb. And I just saw all the things that Darlisa had to say, and, her opinions and her views. And I felt, I have to run now. I have to get out there and try to do something about this now.
Right. Absolutely. And why did you leave the Democratic Party?
You know what? I think, I've been a lifelong Democrat. I was, supportive of Obama and was out there, campaigning when he was running. I was supportive of Hillary, did a lot of work around that. Even Kamala, I was supportive. Biden, not so much, but, Hillary for sure. I was, I don't know. I was a Democrat for a long time. I always viewed them as a party that was progressive and that was at least trying to, make changes that were good. And I always saw them as the party that was trying to take care of people. But that changed. That changed really rapidly. I saw the rise of anti-Semitism within the party and how comfortable they came with that. I saw the rise of, more Islamist, more socialist policies. I saw the rise of that and became very uncomfortable with that. And as an entrepreneur, as someone who, made my own money, made my own success, hired people, worked really, really hard to accomplish those things, I don't want to see that taken away. And I don't want to see that taken away from anyone. So yeah, I just had to leave. It didn't sit right with me, what was going on in the party and what's happening in that party right now. So I had to make the jump.
Great. Now, so that congressional district has a lot of great history. You got Charlie Rango, Adam Clayton Powell, and how do you feel of the jump from what that district represented to really basically sending this lady down. I don't even like pronouncing her name. This lady down to Washington, D.C. from this historical district that really worked for the people, and wanted to build economic structure within the district, within Harlem and the Bronx, and and was a real voice of the people, to now to something that really doesn't represent the history of that district at all.
Yeah, look, I was born in the Bronx. I was born in Kingsbridge, Grand Concourse. Lived there most of my life. I saw the struggles of the Bronx. Came from a family that dealt with poverty, had to be on government assistance, and really, really struggled through. But one thing that the Bronx gave me was an opportunity. We had the gifted programs. We had opportunities to get out of those conditions and to build lives for ourselves beyond, what we were given.
Right.
And I really appreciated that. I think this is going to hurt the Bronx more than anything. It's going to hurt Harlem. We already see who is voting for her. It's mostly the new people who've moved in, the gentrifiers who are kicking Black families out of Harlem. Those are the people who are supporting her. You look in the Bronx, she got 2,700 votes. That's nothing. We have 770,000 voters in this district, and 2,000 people showed up. So I see what is happening and how this kind of takeover, not only of the Democratic Party, but of these communities, is going to be very, very detrimental. So yeah, I don't know how we fell so far, but I think there is a level of people being apathetic to the situation and really not realizing the dangers of what can come, and that things can get a lot worse. Things are already bad in the Bronx. We have highest poverty rates of anywhere in New York. We are dealing with constant issues with homelessness, with drug addiction. We're seeing people who are unsafe. We are having the highest rape amounts, the highest amount of robberies, the highest amount of attacks. And this is not a candidate who's going to care about those things. This is not a candidate who's going to support safety, who's going to support growth, who's going to support business. And it's going to put us back even further. I believe that we can build something great out of the Bronx and Harlem and bring it back to a place where success is something to strive for. And I don't see this in this candidate.
Wow. Now, you said the low turnout, and I think that's one of the keys of how the DSA is getting through these primaries, because they already know, like, primaries are basically they turn out at the general election, right? What should be the plan? Not just your plan, but people who think like you, people who want to see a better Harlem, a better Bronx, right? How do we get people out? You know what I'm saying? Because are they waking up to what's going on even after the thing, or is it still just business as usual with the people in the district not understanding what's at stake?
Well, look, I don't feel that traditional politicians take this district seriously. I was looking at the Republican Party and what they were doing there, who they're running. It's the same candidate every 2 years. He doesn't have a website. He doesn't have social media. He doesn't actually run. He doesn't do rallies. He doesn't meet with the people. He's just a stand-in candidate. And that was extremely disappointing. And I spoke to some people. I spoke to the people at the Hispanic Republican Caucus. I spoke to the Jewish Republican Caucus. I spoke to the Manhattan Republicans. And there is this sense of they've already given up almost. They don't think they can win New York, and they don't think that people in the Bronx care enough to want real representation and people who actually fight for them. So there is this sense of like it's already a done game. I don't believe in that. I don't think anything's a done game, especially in the Bronx. I've seen the people in the Bronx rise up. I've seen the people in Harlem rise up. I've seen, I came out of the fires of the Bronx. When the Bronx was burning, that's when I was born. I experienced what happens when you allow politicians and when you allow City Hall to destroy your district and to destroy your borough. And I'm seeing the signs again. The Bronx will burn again if we are not careful. And if you look at the arsons, if you look at the fires, if you look at what's happening, it's already increasing. We're already at twice the level we were in 2019. So It's happening again now. And I hope, I truly have a hope for this district that the people who lived through that the first time do not want to live through it again, and that they
Right.
actually get up and stand up. But you know, on the Republican side, they don't seem to care. The Democratic side, it's an easy win for them, so they don't put too much effort in. And I think the people there, you know, aren't as politically minded. They're not as civic minded. They haven't been offered that education, and that's on purpose. You know, you keep people dumb to how things are run, and they're never going to question it. They're going to allow themselves to, you know, kind of be run by anyone. And I think we can change that. So my goal right now is, you know, even if I don't win this write-in, obviously it's a long shot. Never in congressional history has a write-in candidate won for a district in New York or anywhere else. I am hoping that we build up that momentum for 2028, not only myself, but other candidates fighting against this. Because if we don't take a stand now, socialism will win. And if socialism wins, the Bronx burns.
Wow. Yeah. Now you're an entrepreneur, my brother. You understand, you know, getting out there, taking your last pennies, you know, putting into a business, man. You know, I mean, my wife, me and my wife, I'm retired correction officer, Westchester County. My wife is a detective in Mount Vernon, but we also have a family bakery
Wow.
alongside with the newspaper, Black Westchester newspaper. So we understand, we understand putting the money up, you know, to putting our own money up, but we also understand too employing our people in our community, right? Having business. So you understand that. You have what is your vision going to Congress
Look,
to help make entrepreneurship more, I can't say more affordable,
no, we got to
but
make it sexy. We got to make entrepreneurship sexy again.
right, more affordable, but a pathway for
Yeah.
more people, because we need more businesses in our communities, right? And that's how we hire people from the community. So what would you do?
Well, look, I think there's a couple things that we can look at. One is bringing back the gifted program. Mondami took it away. He, you know, touts the fact that he got all this money for education. He took away the one program that helps people in the Bronx and those who are, you know, potentially gifted to actually get out of the city. So one of my big initiatives is around not being afraid of AI, not being afraid of new technology, looking at where the future of this country is going and the future of the world is going. So I want free AI education for students in the Bronx from 14 to 30, because I think we lost an entire generation of young men who didn't have that opportunity. I want to see free education around digital marketing, streaming, being able to actually create your online presence and actually build money from that. I've done that for 20 years and have been very successful in that field, not only educating people who become millionaires in that space, but also representing them, developing brand deals. So I want them to understand social media content, how to create, how to stream. I want to bring in people like Kai Sinet to create his next university in the Bronx and actually bring these big names in here. I'm looking at nursing. We're going to have a 30,000 nurse shortage in New York and across the US. We need nurses. So we need free programs for nurses. And I want those nurses to be coming out of the Bronx. I want them to have that opportunity. And also we have to consider real estate. You know, we're not going to allow the socialist takeover of all the, you know, the buildings in New York. We need realtors. We need people who actually can go out and sell. That's an easy skill. That's easy education. I'm not talking about 4-year degrees for everyone. I want skills-based programs that people can get through in 2 months and start making money. And that's like a big initiative for myself and for what I think can happen. And even without this, you know, even without winning, I'm already working on that. I'm already trying to build this out. I have about 100,000 square feet in Washington Heights, where we're looking at bringing in some of these businesses to start providing this free education. So it is, you know, you have to elect me and you get this. I'm working on this already because it just needs to be done. On the other side of, you know, giving people more of these opportunities to actually build wealth, I have programs focused around NYCHA. I want to see NYCHA given back to the people. I want people to own their units. You have generations of families living in these spaces, and one bad real estate deal, one sell-off, one thing can happen, and now they don't have a place to live. They deserve those properties, and we need to get that out of the hands of New York City, because New York has failed for years to support NYCHA. They have over $30 billion that is going to be needed to even fix up those units, and they're not getting the money from anywhere. Federal, it probably won't want to take care of it. New York City doesn't have the money to take care of it, and these families deserve these units. So I want to see home ownership. I want to see people in the Bronx owning their spaces, owning where they live, and it not being something where they have to go to the government and beg when they need help. So that's another too.
Check your signal, because you're really glitching a lot now. I thought it was me, so I was looking around, making sure my signal. Just check your signal.
No, I'm so good, but yeah, let me know if it happens again.
Okay, all right, yeah, because it's going. You're glitching. They can hear you, but the video starts skipping. But we're 100% on what you're saying. We can hear you.
Okay.
We're 100%, and it might be the weather, man. This weather's nasty as hell too. So, we started the discussion before we was recording, and I wanted to get your opinion on the recent SCOTUS ruling on the 14th Amendment. I'm not anti-immigrant. I believe you want to come into the country, you go through the port of entry, right?
Yeah.
You apply like everybody else, and you abide by the law. This ruling has given carte blanche to anyone who just wants to come to America and have a baby, even if you're visiting. Like, that's crazy. You could just be here to go to Florida and have a baby, and that child is American citizen, and you have no allegiance to this country at all. And the fact that they bastardize the original meaning of the 14th Amendment to be for the free slaves, like they just literally opened the door. And I just wanted to get your opinion. And will you be willing, because Clarence Thomas's dissent left it open to Congress, to correct what the SCOTUS did. So I wanted to get your opinion on that.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a couple different ways we can look at immigration. I think the first piece of it is, what was the original intent, right? The original intent was for the freemen, so the free slaves, and making sure that they had the same rights, the same ownership of this country. And I think that was a massive way in which we made good on certain things that happened during that period, or at least America tried to make good on certain things that happened during that period. Obviously not enough, but definitely was that step. So now we've taken that away from the black people here in America, the Hispanics who were indentured servants and other people. We've taken that away. That was something that was special specifically for them. So I have issue with it there. On the second part of it, it's also looking at what happened in the 4 years that Biden was here and how many people actually came into this country over the past 5 years. It was, estimated 20 million people came through that border. We saw the news, we saw the migrant caravans, we saw hundreds of thousands of people every single, month coming through and really, setting up space here in America. I think the other part of it is also looking at China. We're looking at birth tourism, where they were sending people here to give birth, taking them back to China to raise them. And in a few years, they're going to be able to vote. They're going to be able to run as president. They're going to be able to run for Congress. They're going to be able to be in our government. And that is a major danger. I think we need to get very smart about, beyond the 14th Amendment, how do we protect ourselves against those dangers, and how do we protect ourselves against what that means in the future? Because that could very easily mean someone who has been fully raised in China, is fully connected to the CCP and the Communist Party there, and is now running and serving in our government to the level of president, which it should be terrifying to all Americans. I don't think people really realize it. And I think that's something that we need to handle. I do feel that we are going to see domino effects of this SCOTUS ruling, and we're going to see what happens afterwards. We're going to see pregnant women not allowed to come into America, and where they're going to be blocked at the ports of entry. They're going to be blocked in flights, and we're going to see things like that. We're going to see a much stronger policy around deporting people, unfortunately, now with a bigger focus on families, because if you have a family here versus you're a single male who's here in the country, you have a higher risk of, potentially having a child and being a birthright citizen and now kind of having that ability. So I do think it's going to end up being worse off for a lot of immigrants because of this ruling. Just because I can see this administration going even harder now because they realize, like, hey, we don't have this. This is not good. On the other side of it, I do think we're going to start seeing legislation in Congress of people trying to pass bills to prevent some of these things and to work on closing some of these loopholes that we've established within our country. I think for people in general, we need to understand this does not exist anywhere else. There is no other country in the world where you can go and be born and now you're a citizen of that country. That does not exist. You can't go to Japan and be born and now you're Japanese. That just doesn't happen. You can't go to Europe and even do some of these things. You can't go to most parts of Africa, most parts of South America. You can't just become a citizen just by being born in a place. America is one of the only places that has that. And I think there's a danger to allowing that to happen long term. But I think we also have to be aware of immigrants that are here that are actually wanting to be here and wanting to support America and wanting to be a part of this, great experiment that we have. And we need to provide some, amnesty where it's appropriate for the people who actually want to be here and are actually contributing and actually love this country. I think that's the bigger issue. It's like, we never used to have immigrants in this country or migrants in this country who hated America. We always had people who were excited about being here. And like, I talk to older immigrants and like, this is the greatest country on earth. You talk to new people and they're like, death to America. It's like, there's a very big difference in terms of how we feel about the country and which people I would like to be here and which people I prefer if they went back home, Right.
No. And you're right. Like immigration, like, if you listen to someone like Arnold Schwarzenegger, like he speaks so highly and just thankful to be in this country. And then you talk to these, I'm like, yo, like y'all are bugging out. Then you know what? Then go home. Go back to your country. Like, if you don't like it here, then go back.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's something that I don't understand. I think we're seeing it in Europe the most, where that becomes dangerous. And we're seeing, Europe change in such a massive way with the influx. And I do feel that, the Democratic Party wants that to happen here. They want that same type of direction. And with this more, this larger embrace of socialism, it's very clear they want what's happening there to happen here. And if you look at what's happening there, it's not good. It's not working out very well.
It's horrible. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
How didn't Tish James, Hochul, Al Sharpton, all these people that put Mandami on their platform, that gave him credibility, how did they not see this coming?
I mean, I think it's twofold. I think some of them want it to happen. If we look at the Democratic Party and where their loyalties have been, it's been big pharma. It's been, let's give as much money as possible to, the pharmaceutical companies, to the hospitals, to the doctors. They've pumped trillions of dollars into that. Those people fund their campaigns. That's why they talk about universal health care like it's God's gift to the world. When in truth, it's just more money going to the top, more CEOs making tons of money, more stocks, rate. You have 1,000% increase in stock prices for pharmaceutical companies ever since Obamacare came about. So they have been sold out for a long time. They put a good face, but they have been sold to the people who bought them for a very, very long time. You see the same thing happening with the influence of Soros in our politics. You see how he is funding most of these protests, the No Kings protests funded by the Walton family. You see what they want. And Bernie Sanders said it best about 10 years ago when he was in a conversation talking about open borders. And he said the truth then. He doesn't say the truth now, but he said then, open borders is a Koch brothers scheme. You bring in cheap labor. They replace the youth labor. You bring in people who will work for pennies on the dollar, and they are going to take a lot of the jobs. And that is a billionaire's plan. Bernie knew it then. He knew it in 2015. He doesn't seem to know it now, but he also has 3 houses. He has 3 houses now. He has his jet he gets to fly to for his speeches where he gets paid, close to $500,000.
Right.
He doesn't
Right.
seem to recognize it now. He's on the final ends of his life, and I think he wants to live comfortably. And I think that's just what it is. I think for me, I was always enamored by the Democratic Party because they seemed like the people who are doing the right things and trying to do right by people. But those people are the people who pay their checks. Those people are the people where their stocks are invested. Those people are the pharmaceutical companies that want to make as much money as possible. Those people are the people like Soros, who wants to influence and globalize this world and get rid of all borders and not have an America anymore. And I think that's why they supported Mamdani. That's why they stood behind him, because he shares in that same ideal. And I don't think people realize it because he can put on a good smile and he seems like a good guy.
Right. 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 Now, I'm not going to keep you, brother. Where can people contact you?
So on socials, at Daniel Saynt, I have my direct number on there. I have my direct email on there. We created a coalition called New Well, and it's actually inspired by Jesus speaking to the Samaritan woman at the well, which I think is like one of the best stories of how we accept the foreigner in, how we do not judge people, and how we can share in the wealth of this country in a lot of ways, and the wealth that he was able to offer. So newwell.club. You'll find my full campaign there. I have my policies, I have what I believe in, I have my history, but most importantly, I have how I compare to Dara Lisa and the differences between us, because I think there's very, very key differences. And I feel that if more people were aware of that, this campaign will be in the bag already for November.
No, absolutely. Listen, man, I'm going to bring you back because of this weather.
Please do. I would love to be back.
Skipping, and it might be on my end. It just might be. I'll find out when I download it and everything. But I'm going to bring you back, and because I want you to come back on and talk more about what you're doing and the My Well. I want to hear about that too. I want to talk more about that because I'm getting ready to do a series called The Politics of Jesus.
Oh, that's amazing. I would love to talk about that for sure.
Yeah, because I think we really, like we are so this is more, this is a spiritual war as well. It's just not a political. It's just not.
I think that is a key element of this. I'm right now speaking to a number of Nigerian pastors who are in Harlem right now, who are devastated that no one in our politics is talking about the genocide that's happening in Nigeria right now, the 500,000 Christians who've been killed over the past 10 years. Right. And I see this also as a spiritual war. I think that you have the socialists who are taking Jesus and being like, he's ours, he's a socialist. It's like nothing in the Gospels suggests anything like that. Like if you actually open up the Bible, you recognize that Jesus was not a socialist. You have lots of parables and lots of lessons of the master who gives the slaves the silver and the 10 silver, the 5 silver, the 1 silver. The guy with the 1 silver buries it in the ground. The other 2 invested and bring back more for the master. And he takes the guy who buried it in the ground, who made no money for the master. He gives their money to the others because it's hard work. And socialism isn't about hard work. Socialism is about taking from others and taking from the hard work of others. That is what socialism is. And Jesus was never about that. And I think most of us are aware of that.
Well, I mean, sometimes, bro, I don't know anymore. Like really the response that I'm getting from certain things, certain subjects, I just don't know no more, because it's just like, like we should be old enough, especially the older gen. And the thing is, I'm seeing older people my age and older, and some of the comments that they're making, I'm like, where, like, what happened? Like how did this happen that we forgot, what our older leaders from before have taught us, and even the political leaders, right? Like literally we forgot what Adam Clayton Powell was talking about with Black Power and why Black Power was necessary. And it wasn't racist. It was just us empowering ourselves. It's like we forgot all that. When you see some of the comments. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I really don't know.
Look, I think we created a system of dependency.
Yes.
And I think that, they talk about it. If you give someone something sometimes, they're appreciative. If you give them something all the time and you take it away, they're going to hate you for it, and they're going to be very angry, even if it was free. Both sides of the equation, they're getting something for free, but you have to be selective. I think years and years and years of this government dependency and us having to rely on the government to take care of us. I think there's some elements of that are very, very good, but I think it also created this idea of not working as hard or not trying as hard to get what you want in this country.
Right.
And I think that is something that, not only Black Americans, but also Latino Americans, Spanish Americans, like a lot of us lost sight of that. White Americans who, kind of live off the system in that way, a lot of people have lost sight of that. And I'm extremely supportive of social programs. I believe that we need them and they need to be implemented. But just over the past couple of years, we've seen how much fraud is involved, how many billions of dollars are taken out of the system. And again, you take that away, people are going to hate you for it. So we have to deal with these issues, and we have to get back into a mindset of success. And I want to bring back that mindset of success and wealth. You're not angry about wealth. You want wealth. You want to accomplish it. You want to get those goals. And that's a stronger play for the next generation, to not just be so dependent. Like the dependency is not good. It's not healthy. The dependency itself is a form of slavery. Like it's not good.
Absolutely. Government is supposed to make legislation that allows you to prosper.
Exactly.
Not make legislation that makes you a dependent on government. I mean, they have to educate our children. They have to give them the proper skills. You talking about nursing, and then, like I wrote articles. It's like 800,000 jobs open right now for trades. So the Democratic Socialists are not talking about that. Let's empower our children to go out here and be electricians and HVACs and plumbers.
They do not believe in our children. They do not believe in us. They do not care about us. And I think that's a key element of it. It's like they want us to stay where we are. And if you look at any Democratic run city, and you look at what has happened to the Black community, what has happened to the Hispanic community, Latino community, they have remained in the same place or they've gotten worse. They do not care about our growth, because if we grow, we win. We control the country. We control where things go. But they cannot have us grow and win. And that's just what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, brother. Thank you, man. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having me on, honestly.
And I'm going to check the video if there's a lot of jumping around, but I'm going to invite you back on before the summer, because I want to talk to people that's on the ground in the Bronx, especially in that district, to see what's going on, man. Like, my goal is to really look, like I told my brother Megan yesterday, right? I didn't know about you until you shared the video. But I told him before we had the show, I said, maybe y'all got to vote Republican. Maybe you just have to, if she's not aligned with your interests.
Yeah, gotta go Republican.
Yeah, what the hell are you going to vote for?
Right, exactly. Like, either don't show up or vote the other side. And I think it's something that we have to pay attention to, because, like, the Democratic Party is like stuck on this whole idea that Trump's going to run a third term. He's not running a third term. He's exhausted. He doesn't want to get shot at again. So he's getting himself out of there, which means we have the high potential of it being Rubio, an immigrant from Cuba, a Latino.
They have nobody. I'm saying it right here, and I've been saying it. There's nobody on the Democratic side.
No, they were pushing Hunter Biden a couple of weeks ago to see how people felt about it. It's ridiculous.
Hunter Biden, seriously?
Hunter Biden, Gavin Newsom. They were trying to push that as like a possibility.
They have nobody. They have nobody to beat J.D. Vance, Rubio ticket, or if it's even reversed, Rubio, J.D. Vance. Yeah. They have nobody to beat Rubio. When Rubio is on the ticket number 1 or 2, it's a wrap. I think it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Yeah.
I mean, my family is Democratic. I come from a police family, but my mom's side is like the more more Democratic side, and for the first time she's like, that Rubio is really good. I'm like, oh, 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 oh. She hates Trump, but she really, really loves Rubio.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I really don't think it's gonna. I really don't think they have nothing. They're trying to bring Kamala back. They're trying to do, and I'm like,
AOC. They're trying to like bring AOC, who has like you hear her talk about foreign policy. It's terrifying.
yeah, she's not ready.
It's not the woman I want to have with the nuclear codes, honestly.
No, she's not ready. Trump is going to go. I mean, look, whether you like Trump or not, whether all the things that they said, he's out of here. He can't do another term.
Doesn't want to do another term. He's like, let him live his life, have his grandkids around him, play golf. Like, he doesn't want to do the work. I don't know why people are thinking like he's a dictator. It's like he didn't even want to do the work this time. You were about to send him to prison. That's the only reason he ran. He didn't want to go to jail for 250 years. Like you really think about the situation as to why he ran again. It was a lot of it.
You know what? I think after this war, I think he accomplished what he wanted to accomplish to change the whole geopolitical spectrum in the world, away from London, away from the London banks, away from the power that London had. And then we didn't really know about it until you really start seeing what was going on. So I think he accomplished the main goal. What he wanted to accomplish was the whole geopolitical. And now and Marco Rubio, as Secretary of State, was a major player in that. And so it's going to continue. The plan is going to continue, but it just showed how good Marco Rubio has become. I am and I don't care if people don't like me, they get mad, they might be mad comments. I am very impressed.
Yeah.
From little Marco to the Marco.
Exactly. Like if you look at the progression of him from like the debates against Trump to now, there's a stark difference in terms of how that man has progressed and the responsibilities he takes on. Like definitely not the responsibilities I would want to take on or anyone else would ever want to take on. And he's doing it. He's doing the job and he's doing a great job. And I think if he runs, the Latinos are all Republican. We're all Republican at that point.
Oh no, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. And like it or not, they'll have Cuba by then. Right? Yeah. Castro's going to be gone by then. By 2020.
Cuba's already going capitalist. They're already opening up markets, allowing farmers to sell their own goods. They're already moving that direction.
Exactly. It's a wrap. And I tell people it's a wrap. If I don't care if 100% Black people, which is not going to happen. No. Trump got what, 9-10%, 12%.
He got a higher percent amongst Black men, lower against Black women, but it was Kamala, so you can understand some levels of that.
Next election, Republicans, they're gonna get at least 20% of the Black vote.
Yeah, they're at 19% right now with registration. So by the time another candidate's running, and I think if we get Byron down in Florida for governor, I think we're gonna see like the Black vote completely change.
Yeah, the Black vote they're going to get a higher percentage, and then after the 2030 census, it's over for Democrats.
Yeah,
it's a wrap.
Look, let's get the Democrats to 30% control, and that's all they get.
Unfortunately, that's what's going to happen. I have these discussions with Democrats. I said, listen. People are voting with their feet. They're leaving blue states. So sooner or later, it's just you're going to lose all these congressional seats after the census. And that's why they're fighting. That's why they're fighting for the legals, because when you do the census, they number them as residents.
Yeah. And I think that's going to change. I think like we'll see some sort of introduction within Congress as long as the Republicans still have control after the midterms. Yeah. I think one of the big things after the midterms is going to be like, census is for American citizens. It's not for just residents that are in your district.
Exactly. And that, if they change that, it's big. It's coming. Unfortunately, and the Democrats, I don't know, they didn't see it coming. They didn't see the DSA coming, and a lot of people are leaving the Democratic Party for alternatives. I've always been a staunch independent, always been part of the independent party in New York. Like I said, Dr. Cavallo and Lenore Fulani was one of my mentors down in the city, and she ran for president. She was the first Black woman to be on the ballot in every state. So she was one of my mentors, and I learned a lot from her. So I'm just seeing the Democratic Party itself falling. As far as New York, I think Westchester County, where I'm from, will be the last stand in line against the DSA. Right?
Yeah, no, I've been working. I just started working with the Bruce Blakeman campaign.
Really?
Yeah. It's like right back there. It's like, but yeah, I just started doing some work with them to get the Latino vote.
Republicans are doing to reach out to Black people, bro. Like I can't. Like I've been trying to get Republicans on the show.
Yeah, no, hey, maybe we can get Blakeman on here. I can definitely talk to his team and see. But
at least in 20 minutes, we have a conversation because people need to know. People need to hear. People need to hear what's going on, man. They get ready to take away mother and father off birth certificate. And nobody is talking about it in the state of New York.
Yeah,
it's on her desk. She's not going to sign it until after she wins.
No, of course not. And the other thing to keep in mind is like the governor of New York is the only one who could impeach the mayor of New York City. The governor.
I didn't know that
happens in New York City. Yeah, in New York, the governor is the only person with enough with the power to impeach the mayor of New York. Obviously, there has to be cause, and there's things like that have to go into it. The mayor can then rebut and try to defend himself, but the governor has the power to impeach the mayor, which is why we need Blakeman, because going to do it.
Yeah, but he got to get into these communities, man. He has to
working on it. That's the reason I joined the campaign, because I was like, you're not talking to the Latinos. We have 1.1 million voters in New York City. I haven't heard one Spanish ad from you. I haven't seen you try to do a little salsa here and there. Give me some merengue. Give me a little rhythm. Yeah. So I reached out to them and I was like, please let me be involved in this. So no, we definitely have to get the word out. He's gotten a lock on like upstate New York. The upstate New York people, the people outside the city, they support him. Nassau County is doing amazing. It's the most successful county in the district in New York. So they love him and they hate Hochul, especially with the energy costs, the high property costs and stuff like that. But I'm working on getting people in the city to pay attention to him, to actually get out and vote. That's the next path. So the next 4 months are really focused on that. I'm going to definitely talk to him. We're putting together, certain plans in place of what I can do on my side. But, any introductions I can do, I would love to get, Blakeman over.
Anything is from the campaign, any statements they want to put, we could put in the newspaper. You know what I'm saying? It's like we're Black Westchester, bro. Yeah. Like that's where we at. That's our grounds. We're ground zero. But we just can't. I've reached out to the state Republican Party. I've reached out and I don't get anything back. I'm like, what? Y'all don't want to talk to Black people?
No, I mean, I think that's such a big problem. I had the same experience as I was seeing like Mondami here in New York, and as he was running, I was like, who is running on the Republican side? Like, oh, you got a Seawall? Like, are you kidding me? You're giving a Seawall the cat man who doesn't take a hat off? Like, that man smells like cat piss, and I know it. I love Seawall for everything he's done. I will, God bless, the guardian angels and all the amazing work that he's done. But I know he smells like cat piss. And I can imagine that is who the Republican Party is sending. Like, that's your guy. That's the only guy you got. Like, give us Bloomberg again, please. Give us one of those. Give us even a Giuliani. Give us a Giuliani. We'll take a Giuliani.
What's the oh man, he ran against. Who did he run against?
Which one?
Black guy from the Republican Party. He ran against Schumer. I think it was
the original Schumer.
No, our Schumer. Yeah.
Yeah.
He had one debate. I can't think of his name right now. He's a Black Republican. The dude is like fire. like boom, 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 boom. And we was wondering in Westchester, right? Now I know Ken Jenkins, the county exec. I've known him most of my life. He's like family, love him to death, right? But at the end of the day, politics is politics, right? So I'm like, why don't they run him for county exec? Because I just wanted to see the debate.
Yeah.
Right? I'm like, yo, this would be a great debate. They ran the same lady in Westchester County, the Republican Party, 4 times. She lost 4 times. The last time.
Wait. It's so ridiculous because that's the exact same thing that's happening in New York 13 with this guy. He doesn't even, his name is Manuel Williams, but it goes by Jumo. And everyone's like, oh, Jumo is like, have you ever met Jumo? Does Jumo exist? Is Jumo a real person? Like, I don't even know who this man is. Where is he? Does he have offices somewhere? Is there a phone? Like, can I reach it? Can I email him? Does he have an email address?
It's insane.
Nothing. And I was like, I don't like what happened to New York? Because look, Bloomberg was a Republican. Giuliani was a Republican. You had some strong, like Bloomberg was like amazing for New York City. He did great things over the 12 years. He ended up being an independent at the end, and he was no longer a Republican, but he did a phenomenal things. Giuliani, he was the mayor of America before he, got involved with Trump and had his entire thing destroyed. He was the mayor who got through 9/11. You had some amazing people who were in the Republican Party who were running New York City, the most capitalistic city in the entire world, the center of America in so many ways, in the center of the world. Where did we lose sight of things here? What exactly happened with the party? So I'm trying to understand that myself. I want to get back to the days of the grand old party. I want us to be a grand old party again.
Well, I had a lot of issues with Giuliani with the police.
Well, I mean, I think the over policing stuff was like intense, and I think that there was a lot of things that happened to the Black community during that period of time that were negative. And I think the things that I do like about him, I think handling the mob, getting rid of the RICO cases, getting rid of the gangsters who were taking over stuff, the over prostitution, the drug use, a lot of that stuff was good. But yeah, Giuliani's a mixed bag in terms of things.
I know he did that. If he didn't do nothing else, he definitely shut down.
He definitely changed Times Square. He brought Disney in, he did certain things that were a mixed bag. It's like you have to be balanced in your approach for New York. I think there's a certain level of vice in New York that's always going to exist, and as long as people aren't being exploited and people aren't being taken advantage of or raped or harmed in any way, like let it be.
Exactly.
So,
Hey, brother, I'm gonna let you go, man.
I know we've been going too long. Thank you.
50 minutes. But man, and I'm going to bring you back on. I'm going to check and make sure. I'm going to bring you back on regardless, because we're going to need an update. Once the end of the summer, and to what's going on. And
we've got 17 weeks to get the name out there. So yeah, I'm on.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, those that are watching, this is Daniel Saynt, independent candidate for Harlem in the Bronx. Look them up. Everybody wants an alternative. You have an alternative. You have no excuses. Brother, thank you, and have a blessed day.
Have a great one.
You too now. And please, people, look him up. Go to his website. And like I said, we're trying to bring alternatives. You don't have to just vote one way. You can vote anyway. It's your vote. You can vote anyway, and you just don't have to vote Democrat. You don't have to vote blue for who. I think that's one of the most ignorant saying of educated people, to vote blue for who. We should not have to do that. So thanks again. Please like and share, and please contact Daniel and give more information. If you want to help his campaign, reach out to him. And as always, stay safe, stay blessed, and stay blacktastic. Peace out. All right, brother. That's it, man. Thanks again, man.
No, it was great talking to you. I feel that was very refreshing. Like thank you very much. But yeah, I'll jump off now.
Okay.
If you for the image that you created, the graphic, Is there, if there's any way you could just send me the graphic of it, because then I can put it in a post.
Okay.
Yeah, just a graphic. All right, thank you.
I'll shoot it to you right now.
Perfect, awesome. And then anything else you want me to link to? Like if you want me to link directly to Black Westchester Magazine, or the podcast or anything else like that.
It'd be on YouTube.
Okay, perfect. Cool.
Tonight at 8.
Awesome. Talk soon.
All right, my brother.
Black America, political loyalty without results is not power. Sign up and get your free ebook by Damon K. Jones. A seat at the table is not power. Building the table is. This book exposes how political dependence weakened our communities and lays out a blueprint for Black economic, political, and institutional sovereignty. If you're ready to move from symbolism to ownership, this is for you. Download it free today. Follow Damon K. Jones on YouTube and stay connected to empowering conversations that challenge the mind, strengthen the spirit, and uplift the community. Subscribe to Black Westchester YouTube and at Damon Jones on YouTube for powerful content on life, culture, community, faith, politics, health, and truth that makes you think for yourself. If you're serious about political clarity and independent thinking, this is for you. The Political Thought Bundle includes 3 full books, all personally singling. Democrats and Republicans, The Ultimate Gangbangers, breaks down how the two-party system operates like a legalized street war for power. Emotional Politics, Logical Failure exposes how emotion has replaced strategy in Black political engagement. Tolerance is for Coward lays out a blueprint for extended policing and community-led public safety rooted in outcomes rather than slogans. 3 signed books. One bundle, $60. That's a $75 value, and you're getting signed copies included. This isn't left versus right. It's results versus rhetoric. Go to twosteppublishing.com and secure your signed Political Thought Bundle today. It's going to be Blacktastic. For more than a century, Black America built its own economy under segregation, under discrimination, and under conditions most people today cannot imagine. We built businesses. We built banks. We bought land and property. In The Forgotten Blueprint, Damon K. Jones reveals how Black communities created thriving economic systems from 1800 to 1965 and why that blueprint still matters today. This book challenges the idea that our future depends on politics alone and shows how ownership, family, and enterprise once powered Black prosperity. The blueprint is not lost. We just stopped using it. The Forgotten Blueprint, how Black America built its own economy from 1800 to 1965. On sale now at Two Step Publishing and Amazon. Black Westchester Magazine has been giving our community a voice, reporting the stories others ignore, holding power accountable, and making sure the truth about our communities is told by us. But independent Black media only survives when the community supports it. If you believe in real journalism, community accountability, and keeping Black voices strong in local news, we need your help. Your donation helps us continue covering the stories that matter: politics, education, justice, and economic empowerment right here in Westchester. Support Black media, support Black truth, support Black Westchester Magazine. Donate today and help keep Black media alive. Because Black-owned independent media is Blacktastic. Black Westchester Magazine presents People Before Politics, the Sunday Rundown, every Sunday at 6 p.m. on YouTube. Join Damon K. Jones, A.J. Woodson, and Larnez Kinsey as they break down the biggest stories in politics, culture, and community from a Black point of view. No spin, no party loyalty, just logic, accountability, and outcomes. If it impacts Black America, we're talking about it. Tap in. Subscribe.
This is the Publisher's Desk
reminder.
with Damon K.
This
Jones.
Sunday at 6 p.m.
Brought to you
it's
by
going
Black
to be
Westchester
Blacktastic.
Magazine, where life, culture, community, and faith meet truth, power, and purpose.